Okay. Hello and good morning, everyone. How are y'all doing today? Hope you're having a good start to your Wednesday morning. Well, this is bizarre. I don't know if you're hearing the music at all at the moment. It doesn't seem to be reacting, even though it's playing. Let me at least turn on the desktop audio, I guess. I'll just turn that down, though. Bizarre. Wonder what's going on. Of all times, now it's not working. Wait, so was it going on the main screen? Hang on, let me go back to that really quick. Okay, well that was bizarre because I know when I first started it this morning, it worked just fine. God, I hope it wasn't quiet that whole time, other than the little background noise for the little ski resort setup that I have going. But anyways, back to it. How are you all doing? Nothing like a little technical difficulties to start the morning out, right? You gotta love it. You gotta love it. But again, I hope you're all doing well so far this Wednesday morning. I know mine's starting out just fine. Well, for me, I'm already on a second cup of coffee. Go figure. But then I've got this. I decided to grab this. It's been eyeing me. This Chobani birthday cake kind of flavored creamer, and I don't always get creamers, but I was like, you know what, I'll give this one a try. And so when you start having the coffee creamers, man, does the coffee go down faster. And it's not bad, especially with this now lighter breakfast blend, I guess, that we got. Anywho, the world of gaming today. Ooh, there's a bit of news out there. Been a good bit of news going. A lot to tap into. And this morning I am even might be changing the format just to see how this goes, because I'm always fine enough to keep kind of experimenting with different formats, different ways of going about things, So we'll see how this pans out today. I'm kind of just to get any feedback from the rest of you. So today, I don't know if I will be playing something at the end of all the articles, because we'll see how much time it does take up. But that is going to be kind of the question. Do you guys like that I will go into a game afterwards, or would you prefer I stick to a bunch of the topics that are going on right now to fill in with all that stuff? Because Lord knows it can be tough sometimes to pick and choose what you want to dive into. And like I say, with so much stuff going on at the present, especially, there's never a dull moment, even in the world of gaming. Although I could see where if you're doing this like every day of the week, it could get exhaustive for what you could be covering. But then that's why I do like keeping an eye on mods and stuff like that, keeping an eye on everything that I can. It's tough, but and that's what I probably got to do more too, is just dive into mod DB and stuff and see what's cooking on there, see what people are bringing into the scene. And so I believe I have covered now the topic of getting I've gone through the GameCube I'm still going through my history with Nintendo, and like it is, I left the GameCube was that one that was like that first First one you remember because, man, it was that first one I purchased all that money I earned all by my little lonesome, and it felt good. Good morning, Black Pill Timon. How are you doing today, sir? Hope you're doing well. But yeah, so with Nintendo, the Nintendo Wii was a system I completely passed up. Completely. I didn't care what games they were putting out. Nintendo went completely into my periphery. Because I felt slighted. I felt like the GameCube still had life to it. And I was done. I felt insulted. To be as dramatic as possible. But yeah, I was just kind of done with it. I was like, all right, you know what? Time to tap out. And so time went by. The life of the Wii was a long one. And it was hilarious because you heard about all the people destroying TVs and allegedly destroying them TVs early on due to flying remotes and stuff like the Wii remotes and stuff like that. So that was always entertaining to hear, at least every now and then. But again, the games and everything, I was like, yeah, I don't care. So time passed, and Lord have mercy, I don't know why, but the Nintendo Wii U came along. And I was checking out things. I was curious. Excuse me. I was curious. I guess just because I think I was paying attention to it for a multitude of different things. Well, it was like at one like the E3 or something at the time, and Nintendo started showing off their new console. And I was like, okay, let's see what's up. And they were the Nintendo Wii U. Funny as a hell name, but you know, whatever. But I was like, they are introducing that tablet. I was like, interesting, I suppose. What could this mean? And they were showing off a few things. I think some of the Mario games and stuff like that. But oddly enough, it was, of all things, that kind of made me really go, oh, interesting. And I'll pull this up right here. My mouse is for some reason freaking out. I think because the batteries are almost dead. It's the price I pay for going wireless. As I dig that up, hang on. We got Black Pill Timon. My history with Nintendo ended with the SNES because from then on I played my video games with I paid my video games with my own money, and Nintendo was always the most expensive choice over here. Really? Ouch. I guess that's I don't know if regulations and stuff like that here, but like here in the US, all the games prices were all about the same. So in that whole like $60 price range for the time that it was, some would be 50, all varied. But I mean, that sucks, dude. Because at least the Nintendo 64 had a good run. But I'd certainly say like after that was probably like SNES was probably the highlight of Nintendo for sure. But funnily enough for me, it was Zombie U for the Nintendo Wii U that just caught my eye, and I don't know if this trailer will show it off. I just grabbed this one really quick. But we'll see, because it was this game and it might have been after the trailer
over here
that they showed off more of the gameplay, but we'll see what the trailer here kind of shows off.
Run if you want to live.
Okay, yeah, so they are kind of showing off here with the tablet controllers gonna be doing.
No cure, no respite.
And I'll say this, like it was, even handhelds, like the 3DS and stuff like that, for quite some time, I was not paying attention to Nintendo. Game Boy was the last, the Game Boy Color, I think I had. But see, it's stuff like this interactivity with the gamepad while gameplay. So I didn't know about the 3DS or DS, what they'd started introducing with that. But once I started seeing this for the mainline console,
Find one that fits and stick with it.
this sort of stuff was what I found very interesting.
Now we're talking.
And I think they'll so you got them, so
Try and make it back in one piece. All right.
I'm waiting for if they're gonna show the theatrics of it all. I'm waiting for it to show off some of the other stuff that right, notifications. I don't care. I don't have friends on it. Because, like I said, there's parts of it that was what. Now, it's the stuff of the inventory and everything before was definitely what got me going. Oh, that's interesting. And I'm waiting to see if they're gonna show some of the other stuff to it. Fat zombie, always funny to see. Okay, maybe I don't know if I missed it. I was looking away for just a second there. But it was definitely what kind of got my attention was just the fact that, you know, even if you're messing around in your inventory, there's still some live action going on for the game itself. And like I said, I was unaware of what the DS had been maybe doing or anything like that. I was out of the loop on that because I was not paying attention to Nintendo stuff for quite some time. And then with the Wii U, it kind of brought me back a little bit. I was like, okay, let's start checking out again what Nintendo's been doing. And like I said, with the Zombie U game is kind of what piqued my interest on the system, at least, because I like this idea. It kind of gives that extra immersion of what's going on, of like you're fumbling through your inventory, or like also it does the same thing with like lock picking and stuff like that. It's on the tablet itself, so you're fiddling around with that. Meanwhile, you got zombies potentially, you know, lurking around to munch on your ass, on your butt at any given time. So it was that really made me go, oh, this has some pretty cool, you know, potential. I'd be very interested to see where they take this, where it goes and stuff like that. So I allowed myself to get into the bit of the hype. I was like, let's freaking go. I'm in. And so I ended up, I put in my pre-order for the system. Paid it, and it was at GameStop, so the nice thing was I could pay it off over time, and I did. And once I did, I was set, ready to go, and picked it up. I forgot what game it came with at the time, if there was much any, other than I think Zombie U was the launch title. But I got that, and I enjoyed it for its time. It's just then the unfortunate thing, well, There's absolutely no freaking support from third-party developers whatsoever for the damn thing. It was basically, you know, next to nil. And I believe even the system performed poorly. But I was in it. I was trying to think of like what I think one of the nice things too about it that might have also caught my like, okay, I'll give this a go too, is that it was also backwards compatible. You could play Wii games on there, so I was like, okay, I'll go back and I'll check out the Wii games that I maybe passed up and stuff like that. So I did that, and I mean, the whole amiibos. I have a collection of those. I have a good bit of them, especially a lot of the Zelda ones, because they did do re-releases for Twilight Princess. So I have Twilight Princess on the Wii U, and I have the little amiibo figure of Link, Wolf Link, and Midna, and all that stuff. But it just sucked that there was, like, you know, very little support going on for that system. And I'll just kind of now finish everything off here, because then it was the Nintendo Switch came along. Same in principle, like same aspects to it was just this. It was the Switch was the Wii U, just 100% portable. It could, because the Wii U required that connection with the system itself. The Switch, of course, as we all know, is 100% portable. And I felt like and I was seeing all the more support for the Switch than the Wii U, and that was coming about for the launch and everything. I was like, you know what? I'm out again. So for the longest time, at least, I was done. I was tapped out from Nintendo. I was keeping an eye on something, seeing what excuse me, seeing what was going on, and nothing but disappointment for me personally. I was just like, this is so sad. And I don't know, it was probably like, trying to think, it might have been like 4 years ago. Yeah, probably 4 or 5 years ago. I was like, you know what, screw it. And I did pick, because I think the Metroid Prime 1 had come out, and I was like, ooh, maybe they're gonna do like a Metroid Prime collection. That would be awesome. So I did decide to finally pick up the Nintendo Switch. I got the OLED version, and you know, it was again with a lot of hesitance, because I like a lot of the consoles that I have right now, it's just because I am now mostly a PC player. I was like, this thing's just gonna collect dust. I just know it. And when it comes to portable games, I just look at it as like, I'm more than happy to be patient to wait to get home to play my video games at home when I'm comfortable. And since I also do now, like when we do, like, anytime we do road trips or anything, I'm usually the one driving. So it's like, I'm not going to get a chance to play it while we're going anywhere. So I should have known, but you know, it's kind of been like a lot of the consoles that I've got just collecting dust, sadly. That's basically what it's come down to. The Switch is now collecting dust. I had considered the Switch 2 at a point, like maybe trade in my Switch 1, go for the Switch 2, because hey, backwards compatibility and all that is great. That's usually a pretty cool thing. Excuse me. So there was I could, but then with all the shenanigans that was starting to come about for the Switch 2, especially with like the basically digital cards, where you're still not getting the full, you're not even getting the full game on there. And just Nintendo in general, man. I was just kind of like, you know what? I think I'm going to be stepping away once again from Nintendo. And this time I feel like there's a bit more of a permanence to it, because again, like it is, I do all my gaming on console. I don't, or not all my gaming on PC. I do all my gaming on PC. If anything comes along, I mean, there's always emulation, and so I'm just kind of like, yeah. And that's just direction in general is just, with all these game companies as it is, it's just kind of like, you know, just kind of tapped out on all of that. So that is at least just kind of the overview history with for myself, for certainly what I've viewed with Nintendo and everything. And I'm just kind of, as I say again, just tapped out. It's like, you know what, it's been fun, but I think it's about time, it's finally that time just to call it quits. And so, you know, it's now PC all the way, although PC gaming is gonna be in a very precarious situation right now with the whole AI boom, what's going on with that, the way companies have been buying up metric tons of between the computer parts for RAM and store and hard drives and stuff like that, and it's jacking up the prices of freaking everything. And it came at such a shitty time, because I know we were wanting to finally get my brother upgraded with a new PC, because Lord knows it's gotten that time. I mean, it's a good thing that we just play mostly old games anyways, but you know, we still want to occasionally check out something new that maybe comes along. But man, it's like the whole market in general is just kind of getting just rammed up the backside. So it does make me also further glad that he and I in particular do just kind of, we have our backlogs, we're trying to get through some of it, and just playing the older games in general still, we're happy to do so. So, oh well. It's just one of those things, and it'll ride out, but it still just kind of sucks. But yeah, that's just the kind of little history there, for Nintendo, for my time with Nintendo. It's been a fun run, without a doubt. Now, let's go to this day in gaming. I should probably create some little things for this, but all right. So just going down the list. And I thought that, God, if I was doing the whole, like, still trying to get all the trailers together, oof, this would have been rough. But especially you got Turok Dinosaur Hunter on the Nintendo 64. Woo, lads! When I talked about the Nintendo 64, it was between this and Doom 64. Turok almost won it because dinosaurs and everything, but like it was, did play it later on. I still love this game to death. It was great. Between like the character, the enemy NPCs that you fight and kill, their death animations were hilariously great. Even for some of the dinosaurs, could be pretty entertaining. The blood, the gore, and also, like it is, just the weapons in general. And good morning, Hitman. Why are you mentioning Bomberman? There's Pepsi Man here on the screen, but I don't see Bomberman. Where did you get Bomberman? Where did you get that? But you know, it is quite interesting. Just 29 years ago too, that Turok came out, and it's like, oh, okay, I'm feeling old. PlayStation 2. This I thought was interesting when I looked at the list initially, seeing that. PlayStation 2, but it does list Japan, but I believe it came out about the same time anyways, here in the States. But this was something that was a surprise. Now I'm surprised there isn't another game for PlayStation 2 that would be on here, but maybe it came out, because I'm trying to remember when, because I know there was, I mean, the PlayStation 2 was very popular when it came out, and I certainly remember my mom and brother had gone to Toys R Us, I believe it was, stood in line to get the system. And at the time, I think it might have been the only game left or something. I don't know, but excuse me. Certainly the game we got for the PlayStation 2 was this game called The Bouncer. Which, hang on, let me see if I can find that trailer. Because that game was fun. It was a Squaresoft beat 'em up, and I'm just trying to see if there's a trailer. Okay, sure, let's go with this one. But this was certainly the first game we got with the PlayStation 2, and it was it was proved to be pretty fun. And the great thing was too is that it was, hopefully that's coming through. Okay. But yeah, this was the game that we got with it. Like I said, beat 'em up. It was, of course, local co-op up to, I think you could do the three main characters. Yeah. And, at least I'm pretty sure we were able to play it. It was, both my brother and I played it together. He played either, yeah, okay, so it's showing that I'm trying to think of, it was probably, my brother either played Ko or Cian, and I was Volt. I was the big bruiser dude. That was basically the intro of the game. Let me see if I can find it. Let's see, hang on. Let's try this. Probably just gonna be the same. It just sounds like slightly different music. But yeah, this was certainly the first game that we'd gotten with the PlayStation 2. God, the multiple replays on it, because like it was a little while before then, like something else came along and we picked that up. I'm trying to remember too what was the sequence of events for games. I can't quite recall, but I just mainly remember was them going and getting the PlayStation 2, and yeah, the endless fun had with the PlayStation 2. Holy crap! Then that's also where we got in. We did some more modding. We got the swap disc to be able to play like imports and stuff like that. So we were getting like some of the Naruto games that were first coming out. I'm trying to think, and then also we were able to play games that in ways that people would consider to be unnatural. So that was that was always the thing. But yeah, Hitman saying Doom music was terrifying. Doom 64 music in particular, they got really atmospheric with it, and it was less like it was with the original, where, you know, basically a bunch of metal tracks repurposed. But it was, I mean, yeah, such a eerie, dark soundtrack for Doom 64, and it's still awesome as hell. Conker's Bad. No, I didn't. But yeah, Conker's Bad Fur Day, 25 years ago. God damn. Kind of the tail end of the N64, as I recall, for its lifespan. But again, so much fun to be had with Conker's Bad Fur Day, with multiplayer for us and friends, and the teddy bears. Oh, those little teddy bears. They were fun. Because the nice thing was too about them is that they didn't take fall damage, unlike the squirrels that you'd play as. But yeah, Conker's Bad Fur Day, great time. I'll have to probably. It's been a long time since I've gone through but Conker's Bad Fur Day. There might be a time where I have to go through it again. Let's see here. What else? Some of these were not in my wheelhouse. Soulstorm, I believe. Yeah, I didn't maybe play this one directly, but I do remember playing this series, the Warhammer 40k. This is the Dawn of War. Okay, so I did play this series. 2008. Wow. I don't know if I played it around that same time. It might have been close to that. Might have been a little bit later. But I do remember when me and a buddy of mine, we got into some, I think that was around the time we were into Jedi Academy movie battles. And we had joined up into a clan, a guild, whatever you want to call it, called Elite Generals, and a gentleman in that guild had been playing this, I believe, and named Strife. And eventually, I we got the pack together, and we all started playing matches and everything, and it was a lot of fun. I especially liked the Tau. Mainly because with them I could have their super elite unit or whatever was like a giant T-Rex. Give me a giant T-Rex anytime, and I'm I'm freaking there. So a lot of hours spent playing at least one section of this series, because there was a good bit of expansions for it, as I recall. Let me see here really quick. Yeah, there's like a good bit of expansions for it. Oh wait, that's a re-release. Let's see here. Ooh, a definitive edition. Let's see here. Oh shit. They didn't delist it, did it? Maybe they did. Oh, because of the anniversary edition, they must have delisted them. Crap. God damn it. Let me see if it at least lists all the... Okay, so yeah, here... Goddamn delistings, I swear to God. But yeah, so there is the definitive edition of Dawn of War. Quiet you. But because they have the base edition, which was just Dawn of War, and then they had Winter Assault, Dark Crusade, and okay, so Soulstorm was the last in the expansion. But yeah, I remember we installed all of them, got them together, and played the hell out of it, man. It was a lot of fun. Like I said, the tower, my boys, and especially getting a giant T-Rex was a blast. So a lot of hours, there was a lot of time spent in it. Like I said, we did not play things in the most natural way, but it was good times. Well, I'm trying to remember too, because we had to probably use some sort of program to help link us all together. But yeah, good times. The reboot of Tomb Raider, I didn't see it was okay, but the story was felt generic, and it's kind of funny that to say it felt like it was just kind of mimicking a bit of Uncharted, at least in some of the gameplay aspects. But I mean, that's just kind of also third person perspective, but it felt Uncharted more than it felt Tomb Raider, because also her character was just so toned down from what she originally was. I will never say I was a giant Tomb Raider fan anyways, but there was like such a huff around it too that I was like, okay. I think it was like once a sale on the game had come about, I was like, okay, I'll check this out finally. And it was okay, and I didn't understand the controversy, because I think they were like, oh, they were saying like some sort of allegories or some bullshit of sexual assault or rape or whatever that happens early on in the game. I was like, I guess, I don't know. I didn't care. It felt like a giant nothing burger. The game was okay at best again. So yeah. South Park Stick of Truth, 12 years ago now. Damn. A lot of time spent in that. I'll still replay it. I still got some achievements I'm trying to earn in it too. But I still think this is probably the better of the two, especially like story-wise. It feels more, concise and everything. And this kind of brought me back to checking out South Park again, because I had lost track of South Park. I had stopped watching it for the longest time. I think maybe I think maybe one of the last episodes was probably like before I stopped watching. I may have caught the anime episode where they'll like switch between the regular show and then they'll go into the whole anime like style scenes, I think. But even then, I think it might have been sooner than that, and I just might have caught that one randomly. But anyways, Stick of Truth comes along, and I was like, okay, I'll finally check this out. Because again, a lot of games passed me up, and I was just like, I don't, new games especially, like it is, it's always been very on the back end for me. And I don't know when I jumped into South Park exactly, but I did finally pick it up. Enjoyed the hell out of it. The game's a lot of fun. Because it is very classic turn-based RPG mechanics and everything, with the kind of interactivity of like you could get in a button hit for holding defense, or extra hits and stuff like that. God damn it. Damn, Black Raid asking, is that when you fractured your butthole? That came later. But like it was with Stick of Truth, I was so lost on all the memes and all the jokes and references, other than like if they referenced anything really early from the show, early on in the early seasons. Otherwise, like all the new stuff, I was completely lost. I'm like, what the hell has gone on in this show? I'm out of the loop. And so it finally made me go back and start watching South Park again, and I got caught up and everything. I was like, oh. Now it makes sense. And I was like, what the hell is the coon? Like, what the hell's all this shit going on? Especially with then, you know, I was glad I got caught up so that I understood more of what was going on in the fractured butthole sequel, which was okay. There's some dubious shit in that one that I'm just kind of like, okay, guys, here we go. But the Stick of Truth is probably the more solid of the two for sure, and worth checking out. Just for, like I say, a classic RPG. I hate to say JRPG, but it is like classic JRPG with the turn-based tactics and stuff like that. No, Dan Blackred, he says, I thought that was why you took the name for YouTube. No, I actually got... The name came well before the fractured butthole. So, ha! I just became more active later on my channel. But that's the... Because 8 years ago, we got Kirby Star Allies, Black Desert, which I played a little bit of. No, wait, is this Xbox? Huh. Maybe, okay, never mind. I take that back. Gran Turismo 4 years ago. Nope, have not. So yeah, that's that little bit for this day in gaming. Good little list, good little trip down memory lane for that. Always fun, always fun. Okay, what should we get into next? We got so much stuff. Like I said, so much stuff. Let's see. You know what? Yeah, let's go here. Let's go to this. Talking about mods and everything of the sort. There's been an update for one mod for the TIE Fighter Total Convert. It's the no, it's the. So let me switch over. So after, it's in the description, after a long period of development, the TIE Fighter Total Conversion is finally updated to 1.4 and is now compatible with Star Wars X-Wing Alliance. If I recall, is the game that it's basically a total conversion for. So we thought this was a time for a new trailer to replace the aging 1.0 trailer. Enjoy. You can find the full patch notes on our website, our Discord server, or in the description of the file download, which I'll jump to that as well in just a moment. But let's first kind of take a look at this trailer and see what they've got cooking over there. I have played a little bit of this. It's really cool what they did to be able to, you know, just get the graphics looking so clean and almost just so current-y. I hate to say current, but like it is. That's kind of what it's going for. But yeah, like the game has looked so clean and so, you know, like, and that's kind of the funny thing is, like, you don't always need new games. You gotta, if you just look around enough, you'll see projects much like this by you got Angel here on YouTube, and I'll even here, let me drop the link for anybody that wants to check things out for themselves. But but you know, that's the great thing with especially PC games. And I mean, there's people that are passionate, no matter the game too, from console to PC, that they'll find a way. They will find a way to mod it and get it working and whatever it may be. And also through emulation, that's the other great thing about that sort of stuff. So there's always there's always a way. And mods, they keep life to old games, especially. I mean, for God's sakes, people are still making Doom mods to this day. And even for Doom 3 and stuff like that, and just any Well, I remember it was for the Jurassic Park Operations Genesis on the PC that they are also people are still doing mods for that old game. And let's face it, and to me, that's still probably the superior Jurassic Park builder over even the newer ones for Jurassic World. So there you go. But here's the link to the guy's channel, or in this video, basically. But here we go. Let's check out this new trailer for TIE Fighter Total Conversion 1.4 in a decade far, far away.
The Empire is on the verge of success. Soon peace and order will be restored throughout the galaxy.
It's crazy to see the contrasting differences.
As I study and understand this man, this traitor to the Empire, he will not succeed. It is only a matter of time and patience.
Whew, getting lit up there.
Our capable forces, led by Darth Vader, are striking back at the rebel insurgents. Nice. Look at it. I'm just all the more impressed that you take the game looking like this in the original state, and then just into this new look of like, holy crap, like, and this is taking the like I said, the X-Wing Alliance game and turning it into this, like, just upgrade, just managing to make everything look so much more clean and modern. I hate to say modern, but like, just at least certainly with more of like looking like today's graphics almost. And just going off of an old engine like that, but being able to do this sort of thing is, to me, just so impressive and so cool. And I need to check this out again, because I checked out, I think, 1.0, or at least certainly one of the older versions, and hopefully now they've got it working a lot smoother, because it was a little weird and a little jank when I first tried it out, but that might have been a me problem. You never know sometimes. Sometimes I could have just done the setup incorrectly. But definitely, I mean, it looks insanely good. And let me bring up the website so we can do a little extra diving in. And Blackroyd is asking, does George know they made this fan fiction? It's not saga related. Oh, I'm sure they at least got some blessing to take things in a particular direction, but I'm sure they were limited in what they could do. George probably gave them some of his cliff notes and stuff like that. It's like,
oh, here you go. You can play around with things like this. It'll be okay. So, you know, I'm sure that's it. But no, not entirely Saga related. It is all fan fiction, of course. Oh, and I missed your comment there before saying, I'm glad you got caught up so you could understand what is inside the fractured butthole. Weird you refer to yourself in the third person about this, but it's always good to understand your own body. Indeed it is. Anyways. But yeah, they do have their website here, which also I'll drop in the chat here. Check it out if you are so interested. And certainly if I clip this out, I will include the links in that for anybody to check out in the description. But otherwise, so yeah, the overview here. TIE Fighter Total Conversion TFTC project is a free fan-made port of the original classic 1994 LucasArts game TIE Fighter into the 1999 X-Wing Alliance engine. Based on the original TFTC from 2005 and built upon the X-Wing Alliance upgrade project, this is a complete overhaul of the game from graphics to gameplay. All 13 original Tour of Duty campaigns and their training missions have been ported over, including all original voiceovers, cutscenes, and even most of the original medals and Secret Order tattoo awards. Interesting. I didn't realize they'd have something like tattoo awards then. Interesting. But alongside this are also 9 reimagined Tour of Duty campaigns, taking advantage of the much improved XWA engine. TFTC Reimagined attempts to envision what TIE Fighter could have been if the technology of the time had not limited it. Reimagined takes the classic campaigns and puts a new spin on them, adding many more ships, greater scale and scope, brand new missions, a more fleshed out story, better narrative, continuity between missions, and all new voiceovers. Well, that's insanely cool. So like they point out here too, complete original TIE Fighter experience with all 13 tours, reimagined campaign experience with currently 9 Tour of Duty campaigns available to play. Remaining battle campaigns are still being worked on, but ultimately aim to have complete reimagined experience of the entire TIE Fighter campaign. This currently makes for just over 150 unique missions total across the TFTC Classic and Reimagined. Complete visual overhaul and upgrade of the X-Wing Alliance engine. An upgrade project. Engine now looks almost comparable to modern day games. New features, upgrades are continually being worked on. Full VR support. So for any of you VR heads out there, it does have full VR support. Yes, you can play the entire TIE Fighter experience through your VR headset and even interact with your cockpit displays directly. Well, that's really cool that they've included that as well. A fully remastered TIE Fighter soundtrack along with 3 original MIDI soundtracks available to choose from when installing. The MIDI soundtrack version includes the Roland SC55 Gravis Ultrasound or the Sound Blaster AWE32. 2 additional soundtracks were recently added to 1.4. TIE Fighter Remastered soundtrack by Alexei Savilev, and allowing the choice of using the vanilla XWA soundtrack, which is more the usual John Williams Star Wars fare. Rank up your pilot, collect memorabilia, and earn medals in your pilot's room, accessible through the main concourse hangar. Don't forget to check your emails too. Join the Secret Order of the Emperor as you play through and rank up those tattoos just like the original. Well, that's insanely cool. And they do point out that you can get the game on GOG or Steam, and even on GOG. It's for X-Wing Alliance, a whopping $9. But I mean, hey, add it on. They'll possibly be like
Well, since we're in the new year, once May comes along, the meme Star Wars May the 4th, they'll probably have some Star Wars sales then. Worth checking out then. And hey, you could even just check out the original X-Wing Alliance game, which still doesn't look half bad. But again, it's kind of seeing where even with that, it's upgrading those visuals. But also, like, it is on Steam. Oh, that's funny, they have it on Origin as well.
Why you're gonna need so much backup.
But X-Wing Alliance also $9 on Steam. They have the packs as well if you want to get X-Wing TIE Fighter, X-Wing Alliance, and X-Wing versus TIE Fighter. I remember playing that one. That one was fun as hell. But certainly you can get the bundles and everything. Let's see. Kind of curious if they have any other, like, maybe just some screenshots and stuff. Here we go, media. Check out anything else that they have to show for it. Okay, just kind of, and like I said, I did link the channel, so you could always check out more of the videos there on what's being worked on. ModDB might have some of the, there we go. But yeah, ModDB is probably the one, besides their main website, another place to go to check out the mods. But yeah, it's like, to me, looking pretty impressive for what they're doing with an old game, and you can only just imagine what other people can, other people are just piecing together with all this sort of stuff. Okay, so that's what I was kind of curious, is like the tattoos. Huh. So there's the medals, and then this is the tattoo that I guess gets added to for the whole secret, what is it called? The secret order. Or else it. Yeah, rank up pilot. Don't forget to check. Join the secret order, Emperor. Rank up the tattoo. So that's what that's for. This whole tattoo thing is the secret order with the Emperor. Well, that's cool. Very, very, very cool stuff. So, like I said, if you're interested, go and check it out. I'll have links and everything included. If when I clip this out, and of course I just threw them all in there in a chat. So, by all means, go take a peek, have some fun. Good times, good times. Dan Blagger says they didn't even include Anakin. He's the best pilot, and he's only a kid. I know, that's wild, isn't it? But they probably just don't want to be so associated with George's greatness that they had to be off to do something slightly different and aside. They didn't want to mess with his storytelling, because you can't compare. I mean, Phantom Menace is a masterpiece, and you got to sometimes just be at least off to the side a little bit, telling an okay story, not as great, but telling an okay story and trying to flesh some things out. Maybe give some inspiration of what was to come. But unfortunately, we never got that. So, what a shame. But yeah, that's the whole TIE Fighter saga. And I guess, like, it is, speaking of deals going on right now. I know it's nothing but Ubisoft, but Ubisoft over on Steam does have publisher sales of up to 90% off. So if there is anything you've been interested in, which, I mean, for like, I was kind of considering For Honor. I've jumped in on some of the like free weekends and stuff. I've had some fun with that. It's interesting. It almost gives me Bushido Blade vibes on the lethality of what can be of what could happen in combat, even with other players. So it's been a game that I've been kind of interested in, but it's so so multiplayer heavy that I've just been kind of like, eh. I don't know if I really want to. But there are, of course, like the Far Cry series. There's Primal here for $2.99. I'll go away. The Assassin's Creed series, which still, I mean, I'm surprised even like the first Assassin's Creed is $4.99. Meanwhile, you got For Honor here at $1.49 for the base game. I'm surprised this isn't as cheap. And of course, Rainbow Six Siege has started their new season. I've started to play a little bit of it, but if you want to get Solid Snake, you do have to get the battle pass and start going through that. And I'm just like, I don't know if I really want to do that. No, sorry guys. As much of a mark as I am for Metal Gear and everything, I'm like, I might relinquish at some point, but I'm trying not to. But yeah, again, they have other, I don't know why you'd get Star Wars Outlaws, but there's that. The Division, the first game, I like the Division. It is again multiplayer. It's a little reliant on other people to have some fun with it, but since my brother and I, we'd gotten it once upon a time ago and played a lot of it. The first game especially is really comfy because it is basically, it is like, you know, the aftermath of basically the plague spreading during Black Friday. And it's snowy in New York, but there's like a weird like comfiness to it with the snow and everything and the deserted city. I don't know why it is that way, but it is. And the Division 2 is just more of one, but it's more in like I think kind of like in the South or something, more in like New Orleans or something like that, where it's more sunny and vibrant and all that sort of crap. And I was just like, ugh. Give me my comfy snow setting anytime. And it's funny too, like also they do have the Splinter Cell series, which I've thought of picking up, especially just the original game, because I've never played the Splinter Cell series. So I've thought about grabbing the first game. Again, like I said, the Far Cry series is also on sale. They have the Fractured But Whole, speaking of, that you can get even for the complete pack, gold edition for $14.99. I'd gotten it a while ago on the PlayStation 4, so that's how I had played it. But yeah, that's just kind of, they got their little Ubisoft sale going on. If you want to pick up some of their games for pretty cheap, definitely now's the time. Grab it on Steam. Don't, you know, at least you know for at least you'll know it'll stay in your library one way or another. Dan Blackberry says, respect the saga lore. That's right, the saga of one. Respect that lore, damn it. Okay. So I hope everyone so far is doing well this morning. Oh, the shenanigans abound. Okay, what else do I gotta bring out some extra stuff that I could have sworn I had saved initially. I guess I was just waiting to bring it up for the stream itself. Just checking on a couple things really quick. Okie dokie. Artichoke. Dan Blacker says, I don't care about Ubisoft until they bring out a remaster of Ruse. Oh, okay. Sounds good. All right. So, in the news as of late, it's been a big point going on right now, especially with things like Stop Killing Games and all that floating about, is, of course, The multiplayer game Highguard. I've been hearing about this already, and I of course saw Curse Farms post about it saying Highguard, a game with paid microtransactions, is being disabled. I'm glad I'm not collecting signatures for SKG anymore, since some people would equate game quality with whether you're entitled to consumer rights or not seeing the broader problem. A lot of people are, yeah, they're a little more, they get focused on certainly what the companies do, and so they do see it as deserving that they're getting shut down. I mean, I'm of the camp of, yeah, you know, no matter how shitty the game is or a company is, whatever, like the games should have some extended life to from being shut down and all that. Because there's some, and like it was, the Concord situation, we saw people revive that through a form of like server emulation and everything. We've seen it with Star Wars, like with MMORPGs, even if with live MMORPGs. World of Warcraft has emulated servers. Star Wars Galaxies has emulated servers and stuff like that. Have old games that have been shut down have been resurrected in some ways. So I understand, and it could have, yeah, like stuff like this, the way people were looking at it, I don't blame them. But yeah, I could have seen where that would have affected maybe some signatures if they weren't already, like he says, looking at not seeing the broader problem. And some people were making this point. But I think this one in particular is saying, I'm so sick of people being glad when a game becomes unplayable. The mentality of I don't want to play it, therefore no one should be able. That's not the mentality necessarily. It's more of people wanting to see these companies be punished for their bad tactics and bad business sense and stuff like that. Their, you know, bad PR, whatever you want to call it. That's more of the reason why people want punishment for these companies, not for, and it's not necessarily at the game itself, it's at the companies. It's just, unfortunately though, the game is the vehicle for a lot of their bullshit because of whatever, you know, subversive propagandist messaging that they're force feeding into it. But I mean, from what I understood with Highguard, I never played it myself, but it just had a lot of clunky gameplay mechanics, big worlds, big multiplayer maps, but very few players on those maps. So it made it feel empty. So it sounds like, you know, design choices were not all there, and it sounds like it was their own damn fault to begin with. But we'll take a look too, because I did get another article, but it seems like this Vice article that Ross here linked had a little more in there. So as of March 3rd, yesterday, Highguard is shutting down just 45 days after launch. So we'll go offline March 12th, ending the game in just 45 days after its controversial January launch. It's hard to imagine, but it's only been 36 days since Highguard's controversial launch on January 26, 2026. While the game initially was off to a decent start, reaching 97,000 peak players on Steam, the 3v3 multiplayer quickly saw its players' numbers plummet amid online backlash. Let's see what. Let me just kind of open this up really quick just to see what they bring up as the backlash. Facing backlash from players, only been 48 hours. Player count has plummeted. Why has the free-to-play multiplayer generated so much hate? Let's see. Player count has dropped significantly on Steam as the title continues to be the butt of many online jokes and criticisms. If you aren't chronically online, you may be wondering why Highguard is getting so much backlash. It's not as bad as Sony PlayStation's failed Concord, yet it seems to be generating a similar reaction from gaming audiences. Like I said, I'm pretty sure like this whole 3v3 mode and the fact that the maps were as big as they were. So here are the main reasons players are not liking Highguard. It was disappointing final game reveal at the. That's right, because old Dorito Pope himself had promoted the game, and some people were citing that as part of the backlash. Gear up phase is boring according to players. Character designs are bland. Missing game chat and party features at launch. It tries to be too many games. That is sometimes a problem, is when they're trying to fit in too many mechanics. An expensive in-game currency. By far the biggest driving the Highguard hate is the Game Awards reveal. Despite the controversial moment happening in 2025 of December, many players have seemingly still not forgotten about it. Oh, Jeff Keighley, old Dorito Pope, just stick to sucking off Kojima. We know that's what you do best. Accuse the studio paying for the spot, because you have to pay like $1 million or something for these spots. Or was that the Super Bowl? No, I'm pretty sure it was even like the Game Awards. That was like the big word around it, was that was the whole thing. In 48 hours, I'll be accepting your apologies. However, Highguard's divisive launch. Jeff Keighley then acknowledged that many players weren't happy with the game by posting the "share your controversial opinion tangled" meme. It feels like a confused, because like they also have like you can ride around on mounts and stuff like that. Like they have a lot going on it. So that's part of that. Old Dorito Pope shot himself in the foot, or shot them in the foot. Let's see. Despite numerous patches trying to save it, the game's developer has revealed is taking the shooter offline. I know James from Melee Games had been playing it and was certainly I don't know if he's doing it sarcastically or not, but like he was promoting it, and like the game, he saw it where the game could have the potential to turn around after updates and stuff like that, but it seems like they are not going to be lasting in that. In a post on X, Wildlight Entertainment announced that Highguard is permanently shutting down in March. In a somber update, the team explained, "Today we're sharing a difficult news. We have made the decision to permanently shut down Highguard on March 12th. Despite the passion and hard work of our team, we have not been able to build a sustainable player base to support the game long term." Interestingly, Wildlight Entertainment also revealed they are releasing one final patch for the game before shutting it down. The team is excited to release one final game update to enjoy in the remaining life of the game. We'll be adding a new warden, a new weapon, account level progression, and skill trees. Why? When you're like, I don't know if this is like some sort of like Hail Mary sort of thing they're trying to think that will possibly generate a resurgence in a player base, that maybe if that shows, that then they can keep the game online instead of it dying. I don't know, but you have less than 2 weeks left to enjoy the game with new content. Let's see. As mentioned above, the final day to play Highguard is Thursday, March 12th, with the new patch coming. That gives dedicated players around 9 days left to enjoy the 3v3 shooter before it goes offline permanently. To keep track of the last day you can play Highguard, here is the table showing when it'll shut down in each region. The times are an estimate, as Wildlight has only given us a date. Excuse me. So yeah, here, this is what Vice had that was more detailed, I would say, than what I saw in Game Rants. Was having all these time zones listed and stuff like that, but like they said, it's an estimate, it's not guaranteed, but this is what it's all looking at. For North America, 12 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, Eastern Time, 3 a.m. Canada ET, 3 a.m. United Kingdom, 8 a.m. Europe, 9 a.m. Japan, 5 p.m. Brazil, 5 a.m. Australia 7 p.m. and New Zealand 9 p.m. But again, those are estimates, not guaranteed. Players react to the sudden shutdown. As you can imagine, the reaction from Highguard players over the game shutdown was a mix of sadness and frustration. Many users were confused as to why a final patch was being released for the title when it's only going to remain live for a week. Other players were disappointed that the multiplayer was closing down so shortly after its launch. Genuinely wonder what even is the point of launching a live service new IP if you're just going to shut it down before even trying to update it. A user on X commented, for example, another player reacted, so sad, I had been playing all week with the boys, man, we crushing it on 5v5. So they did expand player matches, but I think I saw people saying it should have been like 6 versus 6 or a little bit more than that, just to get use out of the larger maps. Other users were critical of the negative backlash surrounding the game and blamed hate mobs for ruining it. Honestly, after this, I'm good off video games. These people made a great game. I guess you get more views if you say it's trash, like everyone. What has video gaming come to? A frustrated Highguard fan wrote. Highguard has faced an uphill battle since its controversial reveal at the Game Awards 2025. Many viewers were upset when 3v3 multiplayer was the award show's final reveal. Although not the fault of Wild Light Entertainment, the game has since been dogged by online backlash. In February, Wildlight was hit with mass layoffs following Highguard's poor performance on PC and console. Regardless of how you feel about the game, this is an unfortunate outcome for any new studio. Highguard will go offline starting March 12th, so if you enjoy the multiplayer, now is your time to play it. That's kind of a curious thing then. Just to see what is going on with it right now. So you got 291 in game as of now. And is that, let's see. Let's go with the month. I mean, they said a hit, so let's go with the max. Yeah, they had that 97,000 launch, and then it just dropped like a stone shortly after that. And unfortunately, yeah, when it comes to multiplayer games, you need that large player base to sustain it. And I mean, the only time and especially to be consistent, the only time you see big dips when for games is when it's more single player games, but that's usually to be about expected. Multiplayer is meant to keep you, returning. Yeah, I like it. I never dived into it myself. And like it is, I think to me, award shows are fucking pointless. Excuse my language, but they're pointless in my opinion. They shouldn't, especially when you've got people that will say things like, "Well, art is subjective." Okay, eye of the beholder and all that. Then I personally think that it's all just a waste of freaking time. And yeah, when you get a special nod from Jeff Keighley, yeah, that will taint the pool just that bit, especially for people that are already disgruntled with the industry as it is, and disgruntled with just everything that's going on. I think I'd watched a little bit of the awards show just to see what was being announced, but I think I just stopped watching after a point. Like, again, I think it's all useless. It's all a bunch of self-wankery, and sorry, but if you I think if anything, you don't want the endorsement from Dorito Pope. You don't want, in my opinion, to be interacting with these award shows. I personally wouldn't, but that's a me thing, because again, I everybody's like game of the year sort of thing especially is gonna be all tied to you personally anyways. I don't think there should be anything of an industry-wide, oh, this is the game of the year. But judged by who? A bunch of corporate clowns at this point? No, piss off with that stuff. So, anyways, back to the Highguard. It's unfortunate when you got a game shutting down one way or another, especially if there are people that are, trying to play and enjoy it. It sucks. You can try and blame the outrage crowds and stuff like that, but when the players aren't showing up regardless, I mean, if the game is good, the people will show. But if your game is riddled with problems, especially from the get, and unless you can really do something to somehow win back through whatever, like a No Man's Sky, which don't even get me. Yeah. I was going somewhere. Oh, like you're earning back, good credibility, but like it is, once your player base drops off so strongly, like it did on Steam here. Yeah, they, people just weren't going to be showing. It's unfortunate. And on it, I mean, I just couldn't help but kind of check to see what the reviews, but even I'll sometimes say like the Steam reviews are usually freaking worthless. But yeah, like it's an unfortunate thing. Sorry to see any game kick the bucket. But it is what it is. I mean, it was free, and that's the thing. It's free to play, but if they aren't gonna grab those whales, it's gonna be dead in the water. So it's unfortunate, but there it is. R.I.P. Highguard. Okay. Like I said, it's an unfortunate thing. Let's see. Dan Blackray says this is the era of retro-inspired side-scroller beat-em-ups. Is that right? Dan Blackray says the industry puts so much money and time into these massive games, they forget to follow the market. He-Man looks pretty fun, and the trailer for Samurai Pizza Cat has me interested. Are you all right? Damn, look at Blake. Hang on. Are you serious with the? That was a year ago. You got me. All right, you got me. God damn it. Well played, sir. Well played. Because I know there was a He-Man. I believe there was a He-Man trailer recently for a new game, wasn't there? Or was that the new Netflix series? Okay, yeah, there's a 5 days ago, He-Man, the Masters of the Universe, Dragon Pearl Destruction gameplay trailer. Oh yeah, I remember seeing this, the beat 'em up. Hey, Static, how's it going? Saying I don't think we see another No Man's Sky situation again. That's very unnatural. Oh yeah, I mean, the only thing I can kind of see, not as comparable, but again kind of close, would have been the Cyberpunk 2077, whatever. CD Projekt Red's Cyberpunk game. where they've gotten updates for that, and that kind of revitalized people, and especially then their goofy anime series also renewed interest. So there's been some odd things here and there that have but yeah, No Man's Sky was a very very weird and unique situation, and I because of what the game's become now, it feels like people have really just forgotten just how bad that damn game was when it came out. Like, terribly bad. It was worse than Cyberpunk for sure. But yeah. Jeez. You want to talk about a disaster too. No Man's Sky was just on a whole other level. That was just all, like, especially like when you see the gameplay trailers and stuff like that versus what the game was when it came out. Holy shit. Static says, I still think Cyberpunk kind of sucks, and I've paid for it twice. Why would you pay for it twice and have the DLC? I still haven't paid for that slop. I'm still waiting for a really cheap deal. Saying I know I'm an outlier there. No, well, like, I played it, quote unquote, through ways that would some be considered unnatural. But it wasn't like, it didn't catch my, like, I was expecting, I don't know, like, I was still off put by the initial trailer it had when it was like the first kind of gameplay trailer, I believe. And it was so on rails, especially like the driving segment of that trailer. I immediately tapped out then. And I just completely lost interest, and I stopped following it altogether. And a friend of mine, a coworker of mine, was really surprised. He was like, "Wow, really?" I'm like, "Yeah." Looking at that trailer immediately gave me bad vibes. I was tapped, man. And it was sad because I was a staunch. I was looking forward to it, especially after the Witcher series and everything. I know Witcher 3 had its problems, but like it was still a great series, and I was really looking forward to what they were going to be doing with the Cyberpunk. But that first trailer was what made me tap out, and eventually, you know, when I checked out the game, I was bored. Oh, you got PS4 and PC, gotcha. And the Static said it's not that good of a shooter. No, it's really not. And I know my brother played through more of it than I did, and he wasn't too enthralled with it either. I think he even beat it like a couple of times and then got some mods and kind of tweaked with it, but like it just didn't have that same spark. And like I said, that the trailer that they had for it, that it was like the first kind of like gameplay show off trailer, I think it was. Man, I was so tapped. I was just like, nope, no thank you, goodbye. Static says, yeah, and the driving is ass. I only use motorcycles because all the cars have zero traction. Even when you're walking, the physics are just ass. A lot of it was, and also when hearing more about the game itself, the whole Johnny Silverhand thing, he wasn't even as prominent a character, if at all, other than being like the background kind of main music guy. It was, as I recall hearing, I believe WB's meddling, wanting a notable person to in their mind help promote the game and everything too. So then that's when Keanu Reeves was on board, and then it was called, now we have to make this character, front and center. And that was when that whole aspect, a big aspect of the game changed, and all of that. So So yeah, there's a lot going on with that game that it just like it turned into a mess, and it's any wonder. And I know there were people that swore up and down that no, mine was just fine, mine worked just fine. That's great. That's great, but like it is, you can't just discount then the people that were having nothing but issues and problems with the game, even on high-end rigs and everything of the sort. Problems are problems one way or another. You can't, I mean, again, great it worked for you, but like it was for the short stint that I did of QA testing, that was why we always had to like double check our results. We either had to, especially recreating the bugs that we encountered was a big thing, and then having anybody else on the team be able to recreate the bugs. So like it is, if people were able to recreate bugs and have these issues replicate, those are issues, those are problems that, sorry, you can't ignore. And so, when that's it's such a continual thing, sorry, but it's gonna be a problem with your game. Static says, from what I understand, someone was obsessed with Keanu and they changed the whole story. Had something to do with Night Runner's story. Okay. I like I said, I wasn't sure of the whole issue. I just know that there was some of those things that were going on with it that just, caused a lot of re-roll of everything going on. Let's see, what do we go into next? You know what? I'm gonna grab something that I recently found out about. It was funny because I was watching the replay. I was there for part of the stream, but James of Melee Games, I was catching the replay of his Dead by Daylight stream recently from like just a couple days ago or so, and during the stream, I believe it was Slosh, Lord Slosh himself, that brought this up, and I think had gifted him the game. Yeah, here we are. That had not hit my somehow did not hit my periphery or whatever, but I mean it's certainly up my alley, and we're going to take a look at it here. But Excidio, the Kaiju simulator, hits full release. And that was funny, like after I was when I was watching that stream, boobies. This article, when I started scrolling through X for a moment, popped up. I was like, well, that's funny. But anyways, indie developer Toku Pop announced Excidio, the Kaiju simulator, has left early access and hit full release. Well, that's good, because I hate early access. It's basically paying to be a freaking game tester at this point. Excidio, the Kaiju simulator, is now available for Windows PC via Steam with a price set at $12.99. The big 1.0 release brings with it an expanded arcade mode with a final boss, a new city, new skins, and more. Here's a rundown on the big Kaiju game, plus a new trailer. Excidio, the Kaiju simulator, invites you to immerse yourself as a massive kaiju and lay waste to fully destructible physics-based environments at your leisure. Topple familiar landmarks and take on the military and other kaiju that dare threaten you. Features: play as a kaiju, immerse yourself as one of the three unique kaiju, Excidio, Golem, or Raijin, which I'm guessing is these three here, and I'm guessing Excidio is this one, which looks like a mutant hybrid of Godzilla and Gamera. And then here's the Golem, And then Kaiju is the Kong. Although this looks like that the enemy in, what was it, the Godzilla Kong New Empire or whatever the hell. Anyways, yeah, that must Raijin. Physics-based destruction, fully physics-based, realistic destruction. Walk through buildings, only leaving rubble behind. Destroy 5 unique cities. Play on a variety of unique maps inspired by real locations. Cool. 2 unique game modes. Arcade mode. Upgrade your kaiju as you try and survive the onslaught of constant enemies. Can you get to the final wave? Sandbox mode. Oh. Featuring a variety of customizable options, free to play as you please. Photo mode. Use a variety of photo modes and filters to capture screenshots and use destruction from unique perspectives. Crossovers. Dawn of the Monsters. Terra of Hemosaurus. Primatus Rex. And Titanic Creations. Interesting. Okay. Let's check out this trailer, shall we? Hang on. Let me just make sure. Everything's going. Okay. Ruh-roh. Bro. Realistic destruction. Was showing off the names too. Okay, yeah, Excidio is the kind of Godzilla Gamera hybrid. Stone Titan was the golem and Raijin's the monkey. Fight bosses. Ooh. So I wonder if they will make even the bosses playable at some point. Dawn of the Monsters. Terra of Hemosaurus. Okay, now that was Titan Creations. Okay, getting very Godzilla. Be a monster. Look like you had basically like Diablo there at the end. Yeah, let me. Yeah, looking Diablo here. Okay, I think I am freaking in. I did wish list it, so oof. Let's check out the Steam store page, see if they have anything else on there. Like it is, I'm feeling like I am very much in, and I can only hope that they'll have it being moddable, so maybe people could add in some more known monsters until maybe you know, they get some maybe extra steam to get things boosted. Let's see. Intro. Excidio invites you to immerse yourself as a massive kaiju, lay waste, fully destructible player, topple familiar landmarks on a military, and take on the military and other kaiju that dare threaten you. Now, you see that this is definitely the sort of game that I I've been wanting, and like the idea of sandbox mode, it gets me very curious. But I'm guessing in some ways the maps may be still a little limited. I know I've always wanted a Godzilla game that was open world. And I believe they kind of did one on the Sega Dreamcast back in the day. But the game apparently did horribly. But I've always certainly wanted one that was, you know, kind of open world-esque. Gave you that ability to go from, kind of be like like an actual Godzilla movie. You travel to the places if monsters were attacking, but also give me the freedom to go around to different places and lay waste if I wanted to. Because let's face it, you know, you just want to. The dream was always just to go into a city as Godzilla and just stomp the shit out of it. But the one that they did on the PlayStation was limited because it was just like set pieces. It was fun. I still had my fun with it. It always kind of generally ended with a monster fight or just having to do kind of an objective to end the map. But this though, very cool. Very cool. Let's see what this other. Threat level 20. So then it looks like you get to pick you level up maximum health, energy damage, melee damage. So you get to pick through those 3, level it up. Nice. Jeez, they flash through those skins so quickly. With 20 plus skins. You almost got your kind of Mecha Godzilla looking skin there. Like I said, the Excidio monsters is kind of like this Godzilla Gamera hybrid thing going on there. But looks really cool. Yeah, I think this is gonna have to be a pickup at some point sooner than later. This looks fun. Because nothing is more up my alley than getting they run around as a giant monster getting to destroy the cities. They've got, but that's the 0.9 update, and they're up to they're on the 1.0 with the release. So that's even considered some old stuff right there. I mean, it's $12. I mean, $13 US. That's freaking for games nowadays. A freaking steal. Usually they're making it either $20 or $30 or more, even for early access and stuff like that. So, but that's cool that they even have some of these crossovers too already. I'm not super familiar though. For Dawn of the Monsters and Terra of Hemosaurus. But it says game. I wonder if they're on Steam. If I can bring those up. Let's see. Dawn of the Monsters. Here we go. Okay. This is kind of looking like, was it Gigabash? Hang on. Oop. Wrong thing. Let's see. I want to say it was Gigabash. Giga something, damn it. No, what was it? I know it wasn't that long ago I played it. Yeah, it was Gigabash. Where was? Oh, there it is. Okay, there we go. Yeah, looks very Gigabash with the combat system here. So that's that one. That's Dawn of the Monsters. Let's see here. Yeah, I wish they just linked them. Although I don't know if you, I guess you can't in the Steam. Terror of Hemosaurus. Let's see what this looks like. Okay, more. Oh, okay, so this is like a Rampage clone. Ha! Well, that's going on my wish list. I should have done the other one too. What was it? The other one? It had a cool art style. The Dawn of the Monsters. Yeah, I'll slap that one on my wish list as well. Let's see. All right, Armatus Rex. What's this one? Okay, not on Steam apparently. Let me see if it's somewhere else. Huh. Nothing really video game wise. It just seems to be kind of a weird. Just to mention on here though. Titanic Creations, all rights reserved. Is that this company? No, this is Tokupop. That's right. Nothing there either. Huh. Let me put this in though by Dangerville in the Google search just to see here. Kind of curious. Dangerville. Huh. Okay, so I just found this. Where did it? God dang it. So Dangerville, welcome to Dangerville. If you love dinosaurs and kaiju, then this is the right place for you. Here we have massive love and interest for prehistoric animals, giant monsters, and filmmaking of all sorts. Our goal is to make a place where folks from all across the world can come and relax as we learn something interesting after a hard day of life. So subscribe and become a resident of our lovely town of Dangerville today. Warning, safety from giant monster attacks not guaranteed. Okay, so this is kind of a channel based on giant monsters in general and kaiju stuff, Godzilla and everything. All right, gotcha. Neato. But yeah, that's Excidio. I'm interested in that one for sure. Like I said, already wishlisted it. It's on there. I may have to pick it up sooner rather than later, but for now, there you go. There you go. And I'll be right back in a jiffy. Okay. All right. Like I said, it was a jiffy. It was a jiffy. Let's see. What do I want to get into that 2-hour mark? Actually, because I started a little bit early just to get things going. Let's see here. Trying to decide. You know what? Let's. This is always so. Always a funny thing that ends up happening in gaming, especially when you do these re-releases and stuff like that. There was the re-release recently, and I think it has to do with the whole 30th. I believe, yeah, 30th anniversary of Pokemon of all damn things. God, Lord in heaven, it's been 30 freaking years. But yeah, they re-released from the Game Boy. What version of the Game Boy was this on? Game Boy Advanced. But they did a re-release for the Switch and everything, and Switch 2 system, to be able to buy for $20, $30 Canadian. Pokemon FireRed and LeafGreen, but they did some tweaking. They did do some tweaking in that you are unable to do the more colorful naming for characters. And you have Melee James here saying worst versions in every single way. Andy Worski here was the one that he grabbed the screenshots from somebody else because he made the point that he didn't buy it, but he grabbed the screenshots and reposted basically. But yeah, you saying you can't name your rival a slur in the re-release of Pokemon. Tell me how we shouldn't use emulators again. And yeah, so they are limiting you on how you try to name your the rival especially, and you know, that just seems like a bit of a bad point there. It doesn't seem right that you should be tweaking the game, especially for a otherwise single player game, where because you're going to name, of course, the rival some sort of messed up name. You have to. But I mean, otherwise, a single player game that has no multiplayer crossover, really, other than maybe Pokemon sharing. I don't know if they've enabled that, but like, this is the main point of it. It's like, really, you don't add anything really quality of life to it. And as people were diving into this too, we're finding that it is just basically like an emulated version of the game. And like I said, they, from my understanding, it was not a lot of quality of life add-ons or anything of the sort. Let's see here. I'm trying to find some of the, because I know there was somebody that had looked at it a little close. Not, I don't know if closely, but There was, like I said, it was just kind of some general stuff. If you want to play the emulated version, you can. Static, he says, I need to know if you can call the rival bitch. If you emulate the original version, absolutely, you can call them all sorts of things if you want to. I fiddle farted around with the emulated version really quick just to be sure, and I was putting in all sorts of horrible names and it was working just fine. But I know, like, it was like, you know, it is just basically an emulated re-release, and you're paying $20, 30 or 20 $20 US, 30 as I heard from Melee James since he's in Canada. Okay, so even so we have this video here showing off the inability to name yourself other things. So even trying to call yourself Dick, which I mean, short for Richard, right? Good, Jan. New name here. What are they gonna? So yeah, even those like basic things like ass, was it red? So just, certainly some of the inability to do the renaming. And I'm trying to still, like I said, so the Pirate Nation here had the Pokemon is charging $19 for a 22-year-old port of Pokemon FireRed and LeafGreen, censored with built-in telemetry that phones home your play data, which unfortunately with the whole online world, yes, a lot of game companies do this, and that's how we get those report backs. And like I think even with Larian, with some of their with one of their games, or maybe it might have been somebody else, how, oh my god, people are creating bland white male characters. What's going on? We have all these available options. Are you doing this? What? But let's see, statics there. Okay, they use the generic no bad words filter. Yeah, they've got that in there. Okay, so this person here that I just found points out Pokemon FireRed version, LeafGreen details, online play is not supported, local wireless connection for connectivity features, connect with up to 4 other players in the Pokemon Wireless Club. Content is, broadly speaking, the same as in the game's original release. Game remain unchanged from their original release on Game Boy Advance. Cannot change the language of the version you buy. There are no major differences in how the games perform on Switch and Switch 2. Quote, we thought it would be fun to return to the ultimate versions of the original Pokemon adventures in the Kanto region with these special releases. Can use the game chat feature on Switch 2. Games will not receive physical releases. And we have nothing to announce regarding any other potential titles. And so that means, like, you would think there would be like some of the quality of, maybe I guess quality of life sort of things of like what they've certainly put in more of the modern Pokemon games, allowing for like all the Pokemon to level up about at the same time, all gaining about that experience and other little things here and there, which is an unfortunate thing that they don't do anything more. But I mean, that I think is just the big kicker of just censoring the game in the ability of being able to, doing the name filter. But that the big stick to that though is the fact that it wasn't there originally. That's the main point. Why change that now? Yes, you have some of these, like it is local wireless connections and stuff like that for connectivity, but that's mostly in the rival. You aren't, maybe some people are calling themselves some horrendous things, but again, that's gonna be what people do. I thought, having more choices was the whole point, right? But you know what? Yes, stick to emulation, go that route, because even as Sheep City in here had made the point too, when folks say emulate for preservation, it's because of silly shit like this, of the whole naming sense, the whole name filter thing. So that's the big sticking point to all of that. And I would say, because emulation being the much better route, especially because the great thing is there are the people that have gone the extra mile. And while it's not maybe like gameplay stuff, this is at least for those of you that are achievement hunters. For both FireRed and LeafGreen, they have achievements that you can earn. Like it is, I started replaying the game. I've gotten these 2 achievements so far of just defeat your rival in Professor Oak's lab and win the battle on Route 22. So, absolutely. People have made achievements for both of these games, and it's some of this is pretty standard stuff that even just playing through the game you ought to be able to earn pretty easily. Some might be a little more challenging. I can see catch Mewtwo might take a little bit more, but otherwise, that is certainly, there's that aspect of it that is great for on retro achievements. They have it, and then they even have what is then the specialty subset of achievements, the Professor Oak Challenge, which I'm kind of curious about. So it's like register Bulbasaur, Charmander, or Squirtle in your Pokedex as obtained. Interesting. I'll have to figure out how to do that. But you know, there's these extra achievements here that you could start earning as well for the Pokedex, it seems. And then there's this shiny Pokemon Plus, a subset of achievements that you can earn. So the receive a shiny Bulbasaur from Professor Oak, shiny Charmander, or shiny Squirtle, and then other shinies, it seems. That's pretty cool. And they have these achievements for both versions. They even so there's LeafGreen as well that you can grab achievements for. Looks a little different because this one has now the adventure can start. Obtain the Pokedex from Professor Oak. Free potion from the Pokemart worker on Route 1. Obtain the Teachy TV. So that's kind of funny. Like that's not in the red version, which I would have thought they would have just kind of, you know, shared the two. Because I know I've not earned those ones, and I've already done some of that stuff. Feels like then LeafGreen is a little more of like that beginner entry sort of version. But otherwise, you know, that's kind of the cool thing with the emulation side of it. I'd say take that route over paying $20 or 30 Canadian to buy a lesser emulation, basically. Other than, yes, you have it on your modern Switch console, but come on. I'd say take this route. It's much better, much more, and you know, you can certainly put in all the horrendous names that you want to for your Pokemon as well. I've done one for my Rattata. I won't say, but yes, you know, you can have your fun. You can have your fun at least. Name them the messed up things you want to name. You may not have the online connectivity or whatever, but I know, like, for some things they've been able to do some fun stuff, so I'd say go that route over anything else. And that's the unfortunate state of the re-release of Pokemon FireRed and LeafGreen. Nothing and that's why I like it is. I'm always wary of re-releases and remasters and stuff like that. I get very, very on guard. And I know I've caught slack for that, but you know, I am proven right to do so. And sometimes I'm proven wrong. Sometimes my tisms get a little ahead of me. I don't deny that, but in this case, you know, this is why it's you gotta be cautious. You gotta wait and see, basically. Don't. And I know I being a gamer myself, I want to get on the hype train. I want to be excited for certain things, but when it's proven otherwise so often, it's like, all right, this is why I got to step back and not get too absorbed in everything that's being advertised and be like, all right, wait and see. Hopefully it turns out great. Hopefully, if not, oh well. If it does, if it turns out great, then awesome. Then, you know, you can look into picking it up or something. Static saying, I've just always been of the mind that Pokemon is gay. I mean, like, when I first got into Pokemon, it was mainly through the Pokemon Red and Blue back in the day on the Game Boy. I played the shit out of it. I enjoyed that aspect of it. I remember the anime dropping and watching that for a bit, but I just couldn't stand it because Ash just was gay. He was just sucked donkey dick. Let's face it. He's freaking worthless. as a protagonist. But I like what the funny thing is, like once it got to a certain point for Pokemon, it definitely for me, I'm like I tapped out pretty early because of also like it was like they didn't go the more 3D route when they should have. Pokemon Stadium was like between like Pokemon Stadium, Pokemon Snap on the N64 and everything, like you brought Pokemon to 3D in a big way. How did you not then go forward making some of the mainline games in the 3D realm? Now I know Nintendo is kind of known to be king of the mobile market, but like they should have gone 3D a long time ago, mainline, and once they finally did, to me it was too little, too late. Pokemon will never the card game was just. I kind of wish I had kept my cards that I got. If I had known they were going to be worth some money, but they vanished. I don't know what happened to them. But yeah, so. Static says, I think I was 14 when Red and Blue came out and I wasn't playing any video games at that time. That's fair. God, when did, so let's see, really quick. Now I'm kind of curious. 1998. I always feel like it came out sooner than that. But in North America, it came out in 1998. So, yeah, I would have been... My brain can't do the math suddenly. Hang on. Let's see. I would have been 13 at the time. But I was 13 at the time, and it just caught, you know, I liked RPGs. I was into RPGs at the time. And so I certainly gravitated towards it for that reason. I think, let's see, I think we probably played Pokemon before Monster Rancher. Even though Monster Rancher came out in 97. Maybe we played it first. I don't recall now. But yeah, like a lot of those games were coming out. But yeah, I mean, Pokemon got us for a bit. Like I said, it should have gone 3D a long time ago, but they never did it. They never had the cojones. But yeah. Oh well. So for me, it's been for me in Pokemon a lot of too little, too late. But I mean, if people are enjoying it, good for them. Still, if they're still enjoying it, good for you. Good for you. So I think this will be the last topic that I'll go into, which I just thought was so funny, because you know it always is a kicker when some of these little online things, you know, pop in and people go a little bonkers here and there. And I think it got onto my radar partly thanks to Melee K of Melee Games, but also from Horror Amarada. She was the one that also, she made a quote tweet about it. Let me see if I can find, I got hers, but let me see if I can find Melee K's really quick. Because the only reason why I am bringing this up is that, of course, there was a new update to the little situation that looks like a bending of the knee, which you never do. Don't do that, folks. Just you know, when it comes to, especially like just Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, when it comes to the nonsense that goes on there, all you have to really do is just eventually ignore it. Just let it run its course. And then it'll most likely, people will run out of steam and things will go away. Okay, so it looks like even the quote tweet, I believe that Melee K was responding to, the person deleted the post because like even she said, this whole thing is hilarious and I love it. But yeah, it was I believe in regards to this. So this Twitch Rivals account had posted for the Let's Celebrate International Women's Day together, which I didn't realize International Women's Day was. There's like so many of these silly holiday things that go on. I have lost track of everything. But Women's Guild United, presented by Honda on Twitch Rivals, and as I learned, this guild voted. They voted on this particular game. And it's the Overcooked 2. So they voted on this and we'll see what this all goes into. For Women's Day, a celebration of voices shaping the world we play in, Twitch Women's Guild, a community coming together. In the spotlight, Overcooked 2. High energy. It does look like high energy. It looks like you got a lot of shit going on there. Not my style of game, but I mean, hey, more power to you, I guess. Plenty of laughs. We've been getting plenty of laughs out of this. Women's Guild United, presented by Honda, Twitch Rivals. So yeah, this has sparked some controversy. Of course, people are having their fun in the chat or in the comments as well. It's been the combination of it's quote unquote women gamers themselves flipping out, and then the other people firing back. Some of us just having some fun with it too. It's been a whole hilarious situation. Like myself, oh hang on, I just said cheers to all the women out there. I just, like I said, I had my fun with it, and then let me get the whole, where did it go? Hang on, oh, here we go. Yeah, so Horror Amarada, she quote tweeted it and said, women, hey, let's all play a cooking game together. Also women, OMG, how can you choose to do something so sexist and demeaning to women on International Women's Day? Women, we just wanted to play a fun game. And like it is, this has basically been the dynamics of everything going on with this whole situation of the shit show just going. This is my favorite too. Gentlemen, with great sadness and displeasure, I regret to inform you, women, because things just can't be enjoyed. Let's face it. And people want to give me shit. I mean, come on. But I thought this whole thing has been hilarious. It was entertaining yesterday, catching some of the shit show going on, because there's been a lot of back and forth. But like it is, then, like as I said, this is where the problem comes in. Twitch Rivals addressing the Women's Guild United Twitch Rivals show. We'll see what this says now. The goal of this event is to uplift this community and as part of that, highlight women in the community in a game that emphasizes teamwork, adaptability, and shared leadership. In the lead up to the post, we collaborated with the Women's Guild on the game selection. Many games were considered before voting on 4 choices, an open voting option. When Overcooked 2 won the guild vote, Twitch Rivals plus the Women's Guild made a deliberate choice not to let stereotypes dictate what games women should or shouldn't play. That said, we should have shared more context about the rationale behind the choice, and we should have done better. Done a better job spotlighting the creators and the collaboration that helped shape the show. Future messaging will better reflect the guild's voice and future purposes behind the Women's Guild United show. So it's not quite like going, oh, we're so sorry, but like seriously, This is where I stand. Like, it should have you just should have walked on and ignored. Static, we should play Overcooked sometime. I love that game. Well, like I said, it's not ever been up my alley, but with all this going on, it might be worth a check. Again, people are just kind of stoking the flames. This kind of here going, don't y'all got some dishes to wash? If you take 100% of women developers in the AAA industry and send them to develop cooking games and only let the bros build Halo again, you can at least fix 90% of the industry problems. Oh boy. It's a shit show that didn't need to be a shit show. And honestly, like I said, if you just ignored it and walked away and just let people bicker at each other, you didn't even have to do this. Like, just trying to, like, the problem I get into over explaining things usually. This is an over explanation. You didn't have to try and also trying to rationalize saying you have to rationalize in context, but no, just make your decision, put it out there, and let it freaking go. That's all that had to be done. Because this is just a next day sort of thing. You didn't have to. Just ignore it. Just ignore what all the noise going on, because that's all it is. It's just Twitter noise going on, people spurging, and also people having fun, doing whatever. This feels like another one of this does kind of feel like a controversy sort of thing, like you didn't need to, but I mean, hey, I'm always for you watching a shit show take place. Static says, it's worth the chaos in game. It can't even make me bitchy if I think someone is retarded. Fair enough. Fair enough. That is a very fair point, sir. Oh God, the world of gaming, folks. What can be said? What can be said? It's a funny thing sometimes. It really is. And like it was speaking, I was going into the whole Pokemon stuff before. I was thinking of taking a look at some of the newer things for the wind and whatever, but I just, I don't think I care that much. But with that, I think this is where we will call it for today. This was fun. Like I said, a bit of a different format for what I was going for here. Trying all nothing but topics. It felt a little better just to kind of more leisurely talk about the topics going on versus sometimes I do feel a little rushed meeting that hour mark, and I could get to a lot of the other stuff that I wanted to get to. So I may have to still at least pick a game later to play on stream or not. I don't know. I got a crazy schedule coming up for my work week starting tomorrow. So this week has been a little weird for me, but we'll see. And yeah, so please, anybody that's catching the replay and everything like that, drop in the comments. Let me know what you thought. Always happy to hear it. And if you like this, if I should go forward or if I should still include a game, maybe go a little bit longer, let me know. Always trying to tweak some things with this whole thing. I've been doing different stuff with it, so like it is, we'll be back. I'll be back, same bat time, same bat channel next week. I'm still trying to decide on something, but otherwise keep an eye out. I gotta get to Lego Batman 3, and I may jump into some Rainbow Six Siege. Like I said, I'm still debating on what I want to do. I'm debating on what I want to do. Anyways, thank you all for being here. Thank you, Static, Liquid Blake, aka Dan Blackroyd, Meteor Advocate Timon, and Jay Hitman for dropping by. Always appreciate it, guys. Catch you later. Have a good one. Bye-bye.